Good evening. Welcome to Modern Spiritualists Live. I'm Aeson, and of course, me with tonight is Firefly. How are you this evening, dear?
I'm really good. It's warming up in the UK. The
Um,
swimming pool is out and ready to be used.
oh, that is lovely. We just got ours, going to be opening up here in the US, which will be great. Um, I don't know. I love more the natural water.
Yes.
Yeah, I like, hitting for me, it's rivers and lakes. We don't have the sea here, unfortunately. Um, I'm not that close because I'm in the middle of the mountains. Um,
See, I'm about 15 minutes away from the sea.
uh-huh.
So no matter what the weather, if I need to offload or I really need deeply to cleanse, it's shoes and socks off and going for a paddle. And that always works.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Um, for me, it's always, all right, I'm taking a day at the lake. See ya. And, we take off and go to the lake in the summer, but in the winter, it's just blooming cold here. Where I live, it's very, I have all four seasons, and I don't know, I'm getting to where I don't like two of them. The third one's getting close to getting on my list.
Oh,
Hmm. But they say that West Virginia is a lot like the Irish lands, which is awesome. That's why a lot of Irish moved here. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, but I want to go to the Carpathians. That's one of my life goals is to go visit the Carpathians, and to see where my Romney tradition comes from. By the way, we will be taking your questions. You do have to include your birth date to keep our legal happy, but we do take those during the show, and you can get a reading from one or both of us. We'll decide that when that happens. So, with that, let's jump into tonight's topic. Tonight's topic is reading styles. Um, because a lot of people do not realize that it depends on the psychic whether it is where they come from, how they're trained, how your reading actually goes. So, where do you want to start at? I guess we should start with the ROM because they were the ones that I would say started reading, and then it kind of blended out to everybody else. When you come to a ROM reading, it's like they're just spitting it out at you, like, all right, let's see. Oh, you're going to, find an idiot. Date him for a while, and then you actually find your true love. That should be around 1920. Get yourself married off there. But then it began standardized a lot by actually our British readers because they have standardization there. How's a British reading rock?
It's very strict. A
Oh,
lot of people who use our lines don't understand that.
okay.
Um, but reading styles, I read, this is going to sound really random because I'm 50 this year, but I read the old fashioned gypsy way because
Uh-huh.
my nan was an Irish traveller.
Oh, how lovely.
So I read
Romanian,
the way,
yeah,
yes.
Romanian gypsy, i.e., Romanian Rom here. Um,
So I read that style. But
right,
with our I'm going to call it barriers because there's certain things we can speak about, certain things we can't, as you know.
right.
There's certain keywords we have to avoid completely.
Yes. I
So
know.
it's really strict, but I suppose it's the same way you are as well in that respect.
Right. I, when I joined and the lines and started providing email readings, I have my definitions for my cards. I pre-typed those up a long time ago, and it's like I had to go back through there, and it's like remove possible boy, remove,
Yeah.
looking into your lungs, remove, and it's because bad actors is the whole reason for that one. People
Yes.
often wonder why we can't talk about those anywhere, and it's bad actors. You have people out there going, let me psychically remove your cancer. You ain't going to get that from a reading, by the way. But, those are the bad actors that occurred, and those are the regulations that came down through Britain and then is now copied almost through the whole world. Now, have you had a Spanish reader before? They're very different.
With the Spanish reading and readers, I feel they don't particularly care.
Now,
They just blurt everything out, and you're looking and thinking, whoa, hang on.
yeah.
How can you say that and we can't?
Well, not only that, but their style of reading has got so much passion to it because they will go into a lot of details.
Yes.
For those that wonder, my 3-year-old puppy's on the other side here. So if you see me point, it's because I'm trying to quiet him down. He's been quite obsessive. You know, these are the fun things about filming from the office. Which I'm going to pop off for a minute. But talk about how the standard, like if you go down to Atlantis and get a reading at the store there in London, what's the experience for the customer like?
They really, really, it's very rare that you actually see stores that do readings. It's more with us in the UK, you book one-to-one readings and you go to people's houses, which I suppose is uncalled of now, but that's how we work in the UK. Myself, I don't work that way because my home is my castle.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like bringing, and because the work is so intense,
Right.
I don't like bringing people into my home to read for them.
Right.
But there is not many shops that do readings. Yeah. There's so many that sells crystals
Uh-huh.
and do Reiki,
Uh-huh.
but hardly ever actually you can walk into and get a reading.
That's different because here we work out of the shops. Now there's a lot of us that have home offices because we're now remote and everything.
Yeah.
But here it's a lot of, you go to the shop, you go to an event, that's where you get your readings at. So there's y'all all have home offices, or do some even have their own office?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
This is going to sound really random. I feel the people where you are more full on with readings than the people where I am, if that makes sense.
Well, yes, very much so. It makes total.
And I think that's a massive difference in like the parts of the world that we live in.
Right. But you also have the spiritualist churches there that
Yes.
really help standardize stuff. Normally, it's more spiritualism and spiritual readings that occur. That's where like the term gallery reading came from, and that's where you have all your congregation or all your clients or all your guests sit down, and you just read the whole room. And I've been to a few of those here in the U.S., but I understand that that's not as powerful as how it is there, from what I've heard.
I might upset a few people now, but I'm really skeptical. I'm a reader, and I'm really skeptical of that way of reading. And I'm sorry if I put anybody off in the audience. If you've got 40 people sitting in front of you, and you say, I've got an old man with me that liked a whiskey, that's going to resonate with somebody in that room.
Right. It will resonate with someone in that room. And then, that's where like evidentiary mediumship comes from. And a lot of people don't get this, especially if that's their reading style that they were trained in and then coming onto the networks. And when we say evidentiary reading style, I'm picking up the letter J. I'm picking up a gentleman that drove an older truck, an older green truck, and that was very important to him. And he would have smoked a pipe, and he had a very long walking stick. He would not use a cane, he had to have a walking stick. And what you're doing is you're presenting information for the client to go, yes, that is my Uncle John. What does he have to say? And you can get it as a client in trouble with some of these psychics that read this way.
Yeah.
And here's why. They want yes, no, no information.
This is I won't read for my own family because
Right.
they're too close to me.
Right.
My daughter-in-law and son went to a psychic medium,
Uh-huh.
like, and this is how they work over here. I was horrified. I wanted to know her name. I wanted to really give her
Uh-huh.
what for.
Right.
There was 80 people there,
Okay,
and
that's a
as you
gallery reading.
know, I got to be careful what words I say.
Yeah.
But as you know, in the UK, probably the same as yourself, there's many people that unalive themselves.
Right.
And this medium stood up in front of everybody and said, this person I've got with me, he unalived himself. He's glad he done it, but at least he's no longer popping pills. And I was like, oh my God, you
Oh,
can't say that to somebody who's come to you for a reading that is supposed to put them at ease.
right. And it sounds horrifying to us.
Yeah,
However, what I've seen out of these on the other side of that, meaning as the person in the audience, is the family people are like, yeah, it's about time he done something. It's that their personality comes through. Now, if he was very much brash and very much like, here it is,
yeah. But
that should have fit. But I can be as the client sitting there going, oh my God, like, Dad,
yeah,
did you have to say that?
and
Like,
that's what
give me
my son
something
said.
more. Mm-hmm.
I said to him, did anybody say, yes, that's for me? He said, no. He said, everybody just put their heads down because they didn't like that reading style and they didn't know how to handle it.
Right. Very much so. Now, it kind of sounds to the skeptic that the psychic is guessing.
Yeah,
Okay. And it can look that way that they're guessing. However, that's them going, this is the evidence I have. And that a lot of times doesn't translate to the networks, to be honest. Like, that is
yeah,
a face to face experience. I've moved into doing virtual gallery or group readings, but I don't do evidential. I
no,
do predictive,
yes,
and
yeah,
it's very much, okay, let's see what the cards say. This is where we're going. This is how this is.
yeah,
And then I will go into, questions, normally about what actually pops up. And that's called a general reading. And it takes a bit because, we're just nipping the hedges. If
yes,
you want
yeah,
in tune information, you need to have questions for the way I work. And I believe that's the same for you.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I always say, and this is, you're going to understand this.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, when I tune in, I ask for one question to tune in
Mm-hmm.
with the client's name and date of birth, as we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask for one question, then I'll tune in. It takes me 30 seconds to tune in
Mm-hmm.
because I need to make sure that connection is there for myself and the client.
Right.
And then I like to work blind until once I've given what the cards say, I'll then say, so what's your other questions?
Uh-huh.
And more often or not, they say, well, actually, you've answered them.
Right. And that is a great British style read,
Yeah,
is they work blind. In the early 1900s, when they were perfecting this, and some now, they'll even blindfold the reader. When the seance stuff was going on, they
yeah,
would tie the reader down. Well, because they were doing magic, very awesome things like trumpeting and airporting, and they were hearing sounds and noises in those seances. And it's like, let me show you how this doesn't work, how I'm not doing this, but spirits
yeah.
do this. All right, let's take our break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the different card reader styles. So we kind of talked about psychic and medium. Now let's go into card readers, okay?
I found out that my husband had been cheating on me, and my whole world turned upside down.
I stressed over any and everything, constantly waiting for the next shoe to drop.
I was attracted to a psychic advisor to get clarity.
I was like, there's no way that's real. But the things that were coming up felt so accurate.
I really need that unbiased, non-judgmental advice. If there's some part of your life that is not quite fitting in, you maybe want to try something that you haven't tried before.
Try psychic reading on your phone. Your first 3 minutes are free. First, choose a topic or method. Second, choose a psychic. Third, start a call or chat. The first 3 minutes are on us. Install Zodiac Psychics now. Talk to a gifted and trusted psychic advisor.
All right, welcome back. Okay, so let's move into the different type of card readers because this gets fun. Okay, first let's start with the cartonomist. The cartonomists read playing cards, regular polka deck, and they have different spreads. And most of the time, they are what I call bullpen readers. Like sit down. What's your name? Okay. What's your birth date? Okay. Boom, 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 and they will lay out probably it's seven across and seven down, and
Yeah.
you read that down. All seven, the 7 areas of your life. And then they're looking and go, okay, so what do you want to know? Like they've already laid out the whole reading before they even ask for more than your name and birthday. Tarot reading styles are all over the place.
I use tarot cards if my guide tells me to. Because I'm really in tune with Kathy, my guide. She's been my only ever sidekick.
Right.
If it's a client I've never read for before, I'll start shuffling. They'll tell me when to stop. And then Kathy will tell me what spread to pull for them if I need to. Normally, it's 7 cards.
Okay. Is it then or how is it?
I do 3, 3, 1.
Okay. Cool.
So I do like the 3 at the top of the present. This is going to sound really random. I won't work with the past. You can't change the past.
No.
You can, though, dictate your own future. And then it's like the 3 cards underneath are what's coming. And the last card is always the outcome.
Okay. Very cool. Right. I like that reading.
I will have read and learned so much about the client in those 7 cards. Then when they ask me a question, everything just comes flowing to me, so I don't need to reshuffle.
Right. And that's called getting into the zone. Then you have the readers, and you will see this for me, I see it out of New England readers a lot, and they will go card by card by card. Does this resonate with you? Does this resonate with you? Does this, where's this going to? And that is a different style of reading. That is what we call the New England psychic reading. They're also the ones in the U.S. that do the, they ask for the person's name. If they're doing mediumship, they'll ask, what do you want to know, and when did they die?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to... Oh, what are these
Bless
things?
him.
Huh?
It was my kitten last week. It's your dog this week.
Yes. Cat last week, dog this week. But that's what I call the New England, and it comes out of Lilydale, the spiritual camp there, and it's kind of spread out how they read. is they'll do card by card definition, information, and move to the next. And that can take some time before you even get to your question,
Yes.
before
Yeah.
you get to what you actually sit down with. And then what I call the Florida method, and the Florida method does a little bit of both, but the difference is the Florida spiritualist or the Florida style psychics will do some setup. Okay. They will pray with their client beforehand. They will connect to a spirit guide beforehand. They will do some sort of setup, before they read. Now, see that echoing over into through a Mediterranean or Catholic, highly influenced Catholic area is they pray with their clients before reading. Have you done that? Do you do anything like that?
No.
Me either.
No.
No.
Because I read, and I hope this don't offend anybody, but you will understand what I mean. We work with so many clients with so many different religions, it would be impossible for us to do. Not just that, we've got to think of how much that would cost the client.
Right. Right. I mean, not only, in the network time, how much it costs the client. Because if you think about it, if you do this full thing, you do the full prayer, which is, we'll say, a minute, then you're shuffling till they, you either have them shuffle, tell me when to stop shuffling, or pick a number between such and such. And when a psychic
Yeah.
does that, they're if you pick 5, well, they're going to shuffle the deck 5 times. Or they will look at your birth date and add it up numerologically and break it down. And if you've got a birth date that goes into like 33, you're going to be there a while.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
the smart ass psychic in me goes, all right, 6 times, here we go, and be done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is what I call setup. I don't do a lot of setup in my readings. It's like, hi, what's your name? What's your birthday?
Yeah.
And within that, I will look at the personal number because it's normally under 5.
Yes.
Rarely have I seen it, reach a 9, and I will shuffle through that. So you have that difference, that differences in tarot reading, and then you will have the ones that are so strict about their spreads, like the cards have to hit the exact, like they've got. Look, I've seen mats drawn out
Yeah.
for new.
Yeah.
There are people that are like, no, that card has to be right there, and I'm like, how picky can that you be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as harsh as that sounds, that wouldn't work for us because the client can't actually see us.
Right. Not currently.
No, that's true. That's something new that's coming.
Yeah, we're
But,
hoping.
but at the same time, we've got to work the best way for us and our clients
Right.
because we need that connection.
Uh-huh. Very much so.
And again, it comes down to, would we be wasting the client's time
Mm-hmm.
and time they could have reading by doing that?
Right. But that's also why a lot of networks like Zodiac gives you like 3 free minutes is to get
Yeah.
you set up. And, then we go SoCal. And this is what I call Southern California method. I've also seen it echoed in like the Hawaii's and Australia. Is it's question based. Like they do very little setup. They normally it's like, oh, okay, what's your name? And they're shuffling while you're telling the name and the birthday. And then they just, what would you like to know?
Yeah.
You want to know about John? Great. He's calling in 3 weeks. And it's that Q&A style. And that is my style. I am question, answer, like pound me through. Or I will do a general and then we'll go Q&A, which that's your style, which is a more British style.
Yeah.
So out of that, then we have oracle readers. Now, those are a different species completely.
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
I
Your thoughts on it?
personally
Yeah.
don't know what to make of them.
Okay.
I really don't. The same as angel card readings.
Uh-huh.
This might sound hypocritical, But with an angel card reading, it's just giving you your feelings. It's telling you if you're going to have a good day. To me, that's totally different to what we do.
Right. And it is. That's why they're over
Yeah.
into a class of themselves. Do I use angel cards? Yes. I use Katami too. I mean, like the styles we're talking about, it's something I've studied, and I know it's something you've studied,
Yeah.
or at least gotten into. But with Oracle card readers, they are designed for a specific person, a specific
Yes.
situation. Angel cards or angel messengers is angelical messages. That's all it is. They are not going to go, they are not there to answer questions.
Yes.
This is the angelical energy around you. This is what the angels have to say about this situation, i.e., one of the readings I have is what the angels want you to know. And it's boom, boom, boom. And then there's another one that's a soulmate reading, and it is 5 cards, and it doesn't matter what the 5 cards say. That's all the information they're going to be able to give you.
Yes.
Okay. And there's other decks out there like the Ferric Oracle deck or the Soulmate deck. These are specially designed tools.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And how can I put it? I think that's where clients need to understand when they read bios, it says what we do.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of them get confused. Because they think with angel cards you can get predictions, and you can't.
No, there isn't a predictive person.
No, and that's why I always advise the clients to check the bios,
right,
so that they know our reading style, so they got the heads up before they come to us.
Well, not only that, but so they're prepared.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to talk about after we get back from our break here in a minute, is so that they're prepared for what they need to do.
Yes.
Okay. And, there's some slants there. I mean, if you go with, and then, you have with the Lenormand deck, which is a whole different species than the Oracle or the Tarot. And we're just talking cards. We're not talking astrology, numerology, mediumship, psychic. Just the Lenormand is another reading style, but it's down what I call down and dirty reading.
Yes.
It's cut to the core. This is here it is. He's either bringing you a ring, or the relationship's going in the coffin, or there's light at the end of the tunnel. You got to watch for the keys of information, that type of thing. So with that style, have you studied it? I've only looked at it. I haven't gotten to it yet.
I looked at it.
Okay.
I didn't actually study it because I felt it'd be a waste of my time.
Oh, okay.
Because that reading didn't appeal to me.
And
right. As you know, you've got to be connected with the cards that you would use for that type of reading.
Right.
And I knew there wouldn't be a connection.
Right. Have you had a Lenormand reading?
I've seen them being done.
Okay.
I'll be honest, the only readings I've ever had is where I go for mediumship readings. Because a lot of my family have passed over.
Right.
But I always give a gold ring.
And
that's how I get my readings. I can never for the life of me remember the name of it. But she always uses my piece of jewellery to give me my reading. Yeah.
Yep, psychometry, and that's where she's connecting to the energy vibration off the ring.
Yeah.
And it gives you connection. All right, guys, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about how do you tell which psychic which tool or which psychic you want to go to for which situation. Like we're not downaging anybody, just by the way. We're talking about the different specifics.
Try psychic reading on your phone. Your first 3 minutes are free. First, choose a topic or method. Second, choose a psychic. Third, start a call or chat. The first 3 minutes are on us. Install Zodiac Psychics now. Talk to a gifted and trusted psychic advisor.
For so long, everything was difficult because I was allowing it to be and almost finding more comfort in that chaos.
My psychic advisor really helped me stop and take a breath and look within and be okay with what was happening right now.
Having that 24/7 access is amazing. Just a quick moment to get some clarity.
We are here on a journey, and we can't always control it. All we can do is be along for the ride.
All right. So, how do you know which method or in which style do you want? Well, let's break down the first three barriers. You have psychics that read on a psychic level. You have mediums that read on a mediumship level. And then you have what I call metaphysicists that read on a tool-based level. So, which one's best for which? Darling?
Mediumship obviously is for people that's passed over.
Mm-hmm.
There is a big line under somebody that can work with spirit, but not necessarily with mediumship.
Right.
People always consider them to be the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
but they're totally different things.
Right.
Because when you're working with mediumship is actually working with somebody that you want to be called through.
Right.
Whereas psychic, you're working with your own guide and the information that's given to you.
Uh-huh. Very much so.
And
Now,
tool-based is...
Now, some people are psychic mediums and some people are medium psychics, but they're not both.
No.
No.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I will say if somebody comes from mediumship reading, it's always best to have the person's name and date of birth that you'd like to come through, because not all passed over relatives want to come through. Sometimes if they don't want to speak to the person, there could be many reasons. Or if you're not giving off good vibes. Sorry?
They could just be busy on the other side.
Yeah, and that's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's also draining for them as well. Even though they've passed over,
Right.
it still takes energy for them to communicate.
Right, because they have to bring their energy down. The medium has to bring their energy vibration up.
Yeah.
And some people are like, I ain't doing that. You can wait to get over here today if you want to ask me where I put that at.
Yeah. And especially, this is going to sound really random, especially the older generation that didn't believe in any of it.
Uh-huh.
They're like, we're not coming to talk to you.
Yeah.
You do what you need to do, but I'm not coming through.
Right. And I've had, my God David has told me, when I've been asked to do mediumship, because I'm a psychic that can do mediumship. It's not my skill set. I have the skill. I can do it, but it needs an exercise. I had one of David say, I ain't talking to her. She done chased me out of there twice. She doesn't want to talk to this person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to come through, they won't.
Right.
The clients don't understand that at the same time.
Right. They also do not sometimes understand that after they've been over there for a bit, they stop caring about a lot of earthly things because it doesn't matter.
No.
And
No.
let's and I'll throw this to our viewers. Do you care what has happened to your second grade spelling book?
And then it works the same as I'll get clients coming through because obviously mediumship is advertised. I'll get clients coming through and say he passed over 12 hours ago. And I'm like, whoa, hang on, it's too early.
Yeah.
They still need time to go through the process.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
they think I'm being rude, but I'm being genuine.
Yeah. They
When
haven't even
somebody dies,
gone to
they don't go straight away.
No. You know,
It's really confusing for people to understand on times.
right. Well, I highly recommend giving it 6 months. If you are that desperate to talk to somebody, give it 6 months. Think about if you take and move to another country, another planet. We're almost to the point of saying if you move to Mars, but let's say you move to another country. It takes about 6 months to get settled there.
Yes.
So a great safe bet is 6 months. Give it 6 months, and then you can sit down and have a chat on the spirit line with the medium. Because what is occurring there is if you're calling us on lines, you're not getting physical mediumship. You're getting mental mediumship, which means
Yes.
that the crossover soul is talking to the spirit guide that is talking to the medium that is talking to you. So
Yes.
it takes a bit. It takes a bit of energy there. Um, so that's with crossover loved ones. Now they can help in other things, like they have opinions.
Yes.
If you've got some really, and if your mother always gave you sound advice, yeah, she can pop through if she's in the mood to. Now, if she's got to go see Elvis perform, she ain't gonna be in the mood to talk to you.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the psychic and the metaphysical. The psychic, they use tools. I use tools. Firefly uses tools. Every psychic will use
Yes.
some sort of tool, whether it's psychometry. You'll see no tools readings. That means they're using pure spiritual communication. That's still a tool. It's clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, whatever your clairs are. But they're going to use a tool. They a lot of times can look at the past events, but it's like, what's it matter? If it's not, 5 years ago, does it really matter what you wore on a Thursday? No. They do, most psychics do predictive. There will be a level of predictive. Now, there may be some, well, if you look at this and let's weigh the issues here, but there's a level of predictive reading going on, or should go on. And then it breaks down to the styles, whether it's they do a general and then you ask questions, or they do straight Q&A, or whether they do some spiritual setup to get into your energy to do that. Then you have what I call the metaphysicals. The metaphysicals aren't psychic. They use the sciences of tarot, astrology, numerology, and they will tell you what the chart says. They will tell you what your numeral says. They will say what the base definitions of the tarot is. I think those are the harder ones to work to understand because they're coming at it from a meta science perspective.
Yeah.
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 And they are ones I don't feel that could be done on our services. They are something that needs a few days to work out everything.
Yeah.
So for a reading like that, I
Right.
would say check people's bios to see if they offer those readings.
Yes.
But then also expect it to take a few days.
Right.
It's hard to explain that on times when you send us a question on Fortunica,
Mm-hmm.
we sometimes don't get the feeling that we need to answer that question there and then.
Right.
And that could be for the simple reason you're too stressed for us to tune in to answer that question.
Right. Well, and the other
I,
thing there is like an astrology reading. Let's say we're doing a composite astrology reading. So that's two charts and then a third chart of comparing the two. That could take a bit of time. I'm talking
yes,
like 2 hours to sit there. And then you're going to analyze it because yes, we use programs now. Now, back in the day, when we first done astrology, we would get out 3 sheets of paper, sit there and plot it out, get out the ephemeral and go through it. Luckily, computers have improved that. I still have my ephemeral. I can still do a chart by hand. You don't want me to. It'll take you 6 months to get all that put in there.
I can
Um,
tell you there's one lady on one of the platforms we work.
uh-huh.
She still does it the old-fashioned way.
Oh, goodness. That's
Yeah,
an order. That's an order. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But it does take a bit. It takes a bit of time to do that. All readings are going to take a bit of time.
yes,
So, with that, then you have, so you've got your tarot readers. You know that you should look and see if it says general welcomed or, Q&A style, and they will talk about the subjects they cover. Love and relationships, career and finances, because there's some people that do not do career and finances. They work love and relationships. That's their jam. There are some that do spiritual reading, and a lot of people get confused about what spiritual reading is. It is
yes,
life path reading. Why are you dating losers? Why are you stuck in a career you hate? Why are you making these choices? How can we get set up goals to get you where you need to go? You know,
and
uh,
there's so many different types of way that it's done, and I think the client needs to take all that into perspective as well.
mhm, yeah. Like, when we get questions, you're going to see two different styles of readers go at it because
Yes,
I do one way, you do another.
yes,
Literally, every reader reads differently. I've
yes,
teach classes. I've got classes on modern spiritual and how to read tarot. I have probably taught 13,000 people how to read tarot in my life. Not one of them, they've took the same class, they've had the same training, they've gotten the same manual, they get the same everything. Not one of them read the same.
no, no. And I think that's very unique to the person that you're working with.
Right. Very much so.
And it shows us as individuals,
Mm-hmm.
it shows our own techniques.
Uh-huh.
It also shows that everybody is different in that respect.
Right.
And that's why we always advise to check bios
Uh-huh.
to see what and who you're working with.
Right. Who you're working, what skill level they have. And it's not like, well, they're only a tarot reader. No. Like, what have they done into the reading with? It does no good to walk in with someone that is not skilled, like they don't do, let's say, example, if I didn't do career readings or I don't do financial readings, it does no good to contact them because they're going to say, I can't do that. That's
Yeah,
not my skill. And a lot of people don't get that. Like I don't do mediumship online and I cannot do it through text.
no,
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 it doesn't work that way. You're not going to get a
no,
letter from Grammy if you order a text reading from me that's a mediumship reading. It doesn't, it's not how it works. I need the verbal vibrational energy.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Even if I'm doing it remotely, I almost have to use Edgar Casey's method. You're to be at this location, sitting sitting at this time, and and I will tell you, and I'll work on the reading then. But you have to be there for me to connect because you
yes,
need that connection. Now, tarot, I don't care. I can read anything, everything. That's just me.
yes,
That's my
yeah,
skill level. That's yours. You can read probably
yeah,
anything and everything that's legally allowed. We don't break the laws, but we don't care what the question is. Um, and then oracle readings. Look at the specifics. If you're wanting the messages from your angels, lovely. Go and get an angel card reading. If you're wanting to know why the brownie in your kitchen is messing with your flour and sugar, go talk to the fairy oracle department.
and that's the thing. Whereas we give predictions, whereas angel cards, fairies, they don't.
No, they talk energy level.
Yes,
You know, Tell me about my soulmate. Well, you have a great connection with you. They'll have a great connection with animals. They will have very high standards, and they'll be financially secure. Doesn't say when they're coming in. Doesn't
no,
say anything like that.
no.
No. And okay, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about this week. We're also going to be talking about some fun stuff.
live tarot, and psychic readings. Get 3 free minutes on your first session. Find answers and peace of mind anywhere, anytime. Install Zodiac Psychic now and find your spiritual advisor.
For so long, everything was difficult because I was allowing it to be and almost finding more comfort in that chaos.
My psychic advisor really helped me stop and take a breath and look within and be okay with what was happening right now.
Having that 24/7 access is amazing. Just a quick moment to get some clarity.
We are here on a journey and we can't always control it. All we can do is be along for the ride.
All right. I thought we'd talk about, before we wrap in here, how to prep for your reading. One, read the bio. Know what your psychic is skilled in. We have it all there for you on any platform. Keen, we have it on there. Zodiac, we have it on there. Fortunica, we have it on there. Read the bio. Get your questions ready. Make sure they're enabled, and make sure you have your questions ready. Make sure your phone is charged. Because,
Yes.
there's nothing, and I'm not talking like, oh, it's 56%. No, I promise you, charge your phone to 100% before you call us,
Yeah.
because we will drain that phone.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And the thing is, there's nothing more annoying for us as readers
Uh-huh.
when somebody cuts out in the middle of a reading,
Uh-huh.
then comes back half an hour later wanting to continue. It's not as easy as that, because we've come out of their energies.
Uh-huh.
We've read for somebody else. So
Uh-huh.
then we've got to use more energies to build that connection back up, to go back into the other half of the reading.
Right. And I will say this, and people, especially when we first moved to apps, like reading on the apps and all that, people were complaining, the apps drain my phone. Every time I get a reading, it takes so much power out of my phone. It isn't your iPhone. It isn't your phone, the app draining the battery. It's the psychic energy. Like
Yes.
I have to be careful. Personally, if I am in a reading situation, I will not handle like battery stuff, because the batteries in general will get drained if I've been reading and I'll reach over and grab the batteries to replace like the batteries in my candles. Nope, I leave that to my handler to handle now, because I get tired of,
Yes.
like, the whole freaking thing's dead. And it's because we take in a lot of kinetic energy. Write your questions down, or at least your topics. Don't you like that when they've got them pre-made?
I
Saves
do.
them time.
But I like them to ask one at a time. Don't copy and paste a paragraph to me. That don't work with me.
No, not copy and paste the paragraph. Take a pen, these archaic things, write out your questions. Look at them and see what you're wanting, so that you can kind of plan your reading out. And if you're wanting to ask about your relationship, and you're wanting to ask about your career, and you're wanting to ask about your mom, you'll want to organize that so it's like boom, boom, boom. Saves you time.
There's nothing more irritating than jumping back and forth in a reading. Start as work, go to relationship, back to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier for us if we've got it, as you've said, in sections,
Right.
because that's how we work.
Well, not only that, but it's easier for the client, because then
Yes.
they can sit there and they can go, calls in 3 weeks. I like my clients to take some notes, because you're going to need
Yes.
those notes. Because here's the thing: you come back to me tomorrow, it's going to be probably the same reading, but I'm not going to remember my good bits. You may remember, well, you said he was going to do this. Yeah, I said he was going to call you today. It is now 9:35 a.m. The day ain't even over.
Yeah, yeah. And I get a lot of overseas clients saying, "You've told me he'll call today." Well, actually, you're like 9 hours behind me,
Yeah,
or 9 hours in front of me.
yeah.
My spirit guide will go on my time frame for my zone. So
Uh-huh.
you've got to be aware of that as well.
Well, and that's why I say timing, and this is something people need to get. Don't care we are not the only ones that say this. Everyone says this. This is a standard in the psychic world. Timing is man-made.
Yes.
Man-made. Meaning, spirit does not understand it.
Yeah.
Spirit will not tell you. Nobody's walking around in spirit with a planner, with dates and times written in it. Doesn't happen.
No.
So your life chart don't have times and dates in it. It has events, one event to
Yes.
another. So when I give time, I try to say he will call within a week after X, Y, and Z has happened.
Yes. Yeah.
Or he will propose after you two move in. Because
I always
go for it.
use the same as you, within.
Mm-hmm.
Because my spirit guide will always give me the longest time frame.
Uh-huh.
And saying within, you're giving them a time frame to work with.
Right.
Rather than how many clients, and you'll understand, you tell them they'll call within the next 24 hours. They're like this, waiting for that call.
Yeah, you know
That's
what?
an hour gone.
Yeah, you know
That's
what'll
not
happen there,
normal
right? It
behavior.
won't happen because you've not played out the events of your day.
Yes.
You
Yes.
haven't, if you're sitting there holding the phone, you haven't gone and took a shower, you haven't cleaned your house, you haven't played out the pieces to get you to the next point.
Yes.
Yes. And it's like, please move to the next point. Do the next thing so that you end your call with me, you do your thing, you do this, you do that. You go to work, whatever. You need to play that out because otherwise you're just sitting there. And a lot of people don't get that energy of no, you need to keep your energy moving. It's like I'll have clients come to me and go, well, I got to get this job. Yeah, you get the job, but keep applying. Why? Because you keep moving that energy forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you got planned this week? Are you taking a day off? You got anything going on?
Well, this week I've got quite a busy week. I think because we start in a new month,
Uh-huh.
I think that's when everybody gets a bit, I'm not going to say haywire, but they get a bit sensitive and worried about things.
Mm-hmm.
So normally the first week of the month is really busy.
Right. But you'll be on the lines.
I will be for my normal hours of Fortunica from about 8 o'clock until 8 a.m.
Uh-huh.
until 9 p.m. and with Zodiac from about 9 a.m. until about 11 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, I do take a break in the afternoon for a few hours. It's draining work what we do, and we need to do self-care for us as well.
Yes. And we're going to be talking about that later this month is self-care and psychic self-care.
Definitely.
Yeah. And that is BST. Aeson is in EST, and I'm going to be working my schedule. My schedule is out there. My other shows are out there. You can just find them. And I'm not taking a day off this week. Now, today is Memorial Day in the U.S., so, it's a great day to be thinking not only the people that have served the forces, but also of those that, memorializing those people in your life. So please take a little bit of time today and kind of think about that. But June 4th, we have a strawberry full moon coming up. Yes, of course, I love strawberries, but, I had to look this one up because I'm not used to moons having names. I guess this is a new thing. It's the June full moon, and with that strawberry full moon, I believe we're in But anyway, so it'll be red all evening. It promotes the summer. It'll be a good bit of heat. Let's see where our full moon in June is. That will be on June 4th. It's also, so it's a strawberry full moon. It is. What sign is it in? Because this is going to be fun.
This is where even us readers lose the will to live on times.
Sometimes. And well, it's because it's like, okay, it's a strawberry full moon, but what house and sign is it in? All right, so it is in the Sagittarian on the June 3rd through the 4th, depending on where you're at. We are reminded the journey to find our truth is where the magic happens. Sagittarians does not guarantee a happy life of rainbows and unicorns. It guarantees when you are willing, you can find higher meaning in life experiences. So this will be interesting, and here's why. This is when we start looking at our life and going, okay, what are we doing? Some of us has just finished school and either graduated and we have those degrees, and congratulations to our grads, or, you're getting on to the summer and you're like, do I have any PTO? Am I able to take a vacation? Where are things at? But so with this, Zodiac is having a 25% off of all readings on June 4th, and it is Strawberry Moon readings. So look for that coupon code on your Zodiac platforms. That's the only special we have this week. Do you do anything special for the full moon other than just get ready with the tea?
Not the strawberry moon.
Okay.
It's when we have the snow moons. They drive me over the edge.
Oh, really?
And where's the other one that do the harvest moon? Oh my God. I don't know whether it's because I live in a farming area. But even the kids stay away from me then.
Oh. Are you just like trying to clean house and get everything ready? Or are you just like, say one word wrong and I will cut you and bury you in the backyard?
Yes, and I get really emotional as well. Whether it's just everything, I think with the moon as readers, everything gets thrown with us.
Right, it does.
We're not just dealing with the client's issues. Full moons affect us as well.
Well, right, because we're human. And that's
Yeah.
something else to remember with all readers. We are human. We can be sarcastic and funny. I hate a dry reader.
Yeah.
He will come back in 2 months. He, needs to work on his business. Give him a little bit of conversation, so that we are not AIs. I don't know. Like I've seen a lot of people be very dry with their readings and very closed in, and that's not me. That's not my style.
Even though you're doing a reading, you've got to bring some sort of happiness to the person you're reading for as well.
Right.
If they come to you feeling, say, on a scale of 1 to 10, a 3, by the time we finish their reading, they should be back up to a 10.
Right. And this is something, and sometimes on the networks we have a little trouble doing it. But I don't like leaving my clients at the middle of a storm.
No.
And it drives me crazy. And we're going to probably talk about a little bit of this next week.
Yeah.
Where we talk spells and rituals and what they are and how they are and where they go into and what it actually affects. And some magical principles there, because I think that we need to talk magic ethics too.
Definitely.
Okay. But I don't like leaving my client. If the reading comes out and it is just horrid, you're losing your job, you're getting a divorce, your house is going to burn down, then, but after that, you get a career you really like, you start your own business out of that. I hate people that are all gloom, doom, and you don't tell them the next thing.
I always feel that when we start with a bad reading, by the end of it, that client should feel empowered to
Mhm,
take that next leap of faith within their life.
mhm. Very much so. And they need to know that this time is just this time. It's like the clock
Yes,
ticking. It's just a clock tick.
yes.
Okay. So with that, please join us next week, and that is Mondays at 5 p.m. EST and
10 p.m. GMT,
GMT.
Greenwich Mean Time.
Oh, okay. So we guys will see you later. You can find us on the lines. Our links are in the bios, and we'll talk later. Bye.
Bye.